Adam, this is a very unique build, so there's something special about this truck, isn't there?
Yeah, so this truck is something that a group of us here in town went out to California and built for a show called Horsepower Wars. So the way it works is you had 10 days and $10,000 and a crew of 6 guys, and you started with a stock vehicle and then had to turn it into something that could go down the drag strip, and at the 10th day we all went and raced, and the winner got to keep their vehicle.
And you got to keep it because you won.
We got to keep it because we
won. So that's why the California plate's bent there, huh?
Yeah, exactly. When we got it, the plate on the front was all mangled up and kind of like that, and we said, okay, all right, we'll bend her out straight and kind of look like that. So
$10,000, and this is what you built?
Yep, exactly.
So what are we looking at here? So
under the hood we have a what you would call an LC9, so it's an all aluminum 5.3, comes in most of your Chevy truck stuff from like 2008 and newer. It's what we call like a stock bottom end or an SBE motor, meaning everything from below the cylinder heads down is completely a stock engine. It had 150,000 miles on it. All that's ever been done to it is a camshaft, valve springs to match that, push rods, head studs, head gaskets. That's really all that's done to this thing other than being a completely stock 5.3.
And so you guys modified the front suspension and the rear too,
yeah,
right?
Correct. Yeah, so the front suspension stuff when we were out there on the show was actually stock style suspension with just some good coilover shocks. When we got home, because of the racing we do with the no prep stuff and needing front end travel, Nick, my partner, my business partner in Mid-America, he went and did this kind of off-road style truck suspension, so that now we have 10 inches plus of travel versus like 6 inches before.
Wow, wow. So you're still racing it?
Yeah, we race almost every weekend. Like we raced Friday and we're out here at the car show thing today. We did Rocky Mountain Race Week, which is a huge like drag and drive event they call. We did that about 2 weeks ago. So the truck actually, we had to drive at 1,200 miles and race every day.
Wow.
So yeah, you go and you drive in the morning, normally between 200 and 400 miles, race that night, and you have to keep everything with your truck. Like we had to haul everything we needed for the whole week with the truck all week.
That's part of the rules.
Yep, that's part of the rules. So that's kind of why there's the cargo carrier on the back. That's what we used when we were out there. So I just kind of keep it on there when I go places.
Okay, and then you had to add some safety equipment here.
Yep, part of the deal is these cars do have to meet like NHRA tech inspection.
Right.
So we had to have the working battery cutoff. The cages are certified for 850 in the quarter, and Lonnie certified them. Seat belts have to be in date and be good. Neutral safety, all those kinds of little NHRA stuff. Everything is like completely legal on this truck.
Okay. So this is a little different having a turbo mounted there.
Yeah, so one of the best things I like about driving the truck around is that because you can see that and it looks so rowdy and different, people drive by and they're always taking pictures and they always put a smile on their face to look at it because it's just so wild, radical, different looking. So the reasons we had to do it really for our racing that we're doing out there, which is no prep, and even that we do at home, we want weight as far back as we can for bias, and we need it high. And it also saved us about $500 in the budget because when the turbo's higher than everything else, now our oil drain goes right down and flows into the oil pan. If your turbo happens to be lower and the oil drain can't flow right into the oil pan, at that point then you have to use a scavenge pump and the lines and fittings, and that adds up real quick, and $10,000 in a deal like this goes like right away.
Well, that was a lot of thought to put ahead to think about having to do that.
Yeah.
And of course you had to run all that piping. It goes through the cab and to the front, huh?
Yeah, and that gets people, they kind of get nervous. We've been to a couple of tracks where if they don't know turbo cars, they actually think a lot of times that that's like the exhaust or something.
It's just air.
It's just air. And it's warm air, but it's just air. And we were part of the show too, you were turbo limited. So the other big deal was we were trying to get the turbo as much air as we could.
Sure.
So being up and in the open was a big deal for that too.
And over in that corner we got
yep, our little fuel tank. So
that ain't much.
It's not much. It's 2.5 gallons and it runs on E85. So it doesn't go real far with that, but it gets us by. I carry my fuel jugs with me and I'll fill up. When we did Rocky Mountain Race Week, we actually took, because it was a prepped race event, this concrete block is 350 pounds. So we take it out, and then there's a 20-gallon fuel tank that slides right in there.
Okay.
And we got the line set up to where we can plug the lines in real quick and bypass this. So when we do those kinds of events, we'll drive on that tank and race on this tank basically and pull them in and out as we go. And we had to be 3,550 pounds, I believe, for the rules of the show. So that's why we had 350 here. We had a 100-pound weight block that was there, and then there's actually 100 pounds on the axle to kind of get us where we had to be weight-wise and bias.
Well, that took a lot of thought and engineering.
It definitely did. We were really lucky. We had a great group of guys. Mick, who's at the show too with his 55, I mean, he's been doing this a long time, and we just had a group of dudes that were willing to work really hard and were really good at it. And I think it showed in the results of how the truck did and that we won it and got to take it home.
Yeah, fantastic. Got your transmission cooler here. And,
Yep.
And of course the radiator with
yeah,
2 electric fans in the back.
And it used to be in the front. When we got back, we kind of moved it out here to help with weight bias again and kind of get it back here. But yeah, the trans fan's always been there, and we kind of like how the radiator in front of it, underneath the fan, we actually took and cut out a section of the bed and folded it down, so it kind of becomes an air scoop to feed that trans fan a little bit. It seems to work pretty well.
And then that's the little trailer that you put everything in?
Yeah, that's a little cargo carrier. Since we have to carry everything with us, we'll keep all of our, we had like a plastic liner for it that we'd keep all the tools in, spare parts that we had to bring. We had drive tires, so we raced on a 26-inch radial. So we had these wheels would be on top of there all strapped down, and we had some street tires that we drove on through the mountains and everything. So it was a really cool, it's an awesome experience and a great race, and it was neat that we got to take the truck on it.
Right, you won. I mean,
Yeah.
that's even better. But how'd you get the truck home?
So we got real lucky. Jim Howe, who was another competitor in the competition, you know, Jim was pretty sure he was going to win, so his brother has a transportation company, and he had come out there with a truck and trailer ready to haul theirs home. Fortunately, Jim didn't win, and his brother had an empty truck and trailer, and it was like, he gave us a hell of a deal to bring it back and all of our tools and everything, so he kind of hauled that all back all the way from California for us, which was neat.
Well,
we were going to drive it. we couldn't find a U-Haul trailer to haul behind it, or we were actually going to drive it all the way from California home for the experience.
Right. I mean, it would be an experience, and you built it, so you know what it's capable of.
Yep.
So I don't know if I asked you, but what was the horsepower rating you think it has?
So in show trim, where we had the smaller turbo and stuff, it made right under 1,000 wheel horse.
Okay.
So probably as close to 1,200 motor. Now it makes almost 1,200 wheel. So yeah, we're like 1,400 horse out of a little stock 5.3.
Amazing. Well, it's a fantastic build, and thanks for taking the time to talk to us about it for the show.
Yeah, thank you for having us.
Thanks.
To see more about the truck and everything we do at Mid-America Customs, you can check out our YouTube channel, Mac TV, and see all the updates we do to this and everything else we work on.